This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Chris has an interesting question, one you and I've never talked about. Was it ever discussed you potentially doing a run-in during Flair's retirement match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24? I loved your WrestleMania 18 run-in and thought it would have been cool for you to hit one on Shawn to help out Rick.
Yeah, I just don't think you would have did that match the disservice of clouding it in any way.
Right.
I wouldn't have thought it was a great idea. If anyone would have asked me, I would have said it was not a great idea. When you have two people who have meant what they have meant to the industry, you know, that's one that you settle clean with one guy's finish. And it is, let it build, give it 25, 30 minutes and let it build and let it be what it's supposed to be. Somebody's got to retire tonight. And that's what I'm going to see. And that's what I do see.
You're working that show, of course. You're a producer. Are you running around backstage while that match is going on? Or do you go watch it in the arena? Do you pull up a chair in front of a monitor? What are you doing for that show? Rick?
I was probably glued to a monitor where I could hear the commentary to get the full picture. I'm sure I could have found a crack in the curtain, any number of ways to have watched that match. But for me to get the full value of it, you got to hear what the announcers are saying, because you're going to get a feel of what the audience is doing, because the whole place was rumbling. You know, you're not going to miss out on that. But, you know, to get the full viewing experience, I found is find a monitor where not too many people are. Cause, you know, I don't want to hear any, distractions. I want to just watch it just like I was sitting on my TV at home, because that's the full viewing experience.
As a fan, and obviously you're really close to the situation here. I mean, you're friends with both of those guys, co-workers with both of those guys. Is that the greatest retirement match ever, do you think?
Who's to say? Who's to say it's not?
Yeah.
Right off the top of my head, I would not say it was, and I wouldn't say that it wasn't. I know that the work rate was incredible.
Yeah.
The thing that makes our industry that has slightly been passed over and kind of swept to the side, the selling, the emotion of the what's going on in the match, the selling of the offense that's being done to each other, is that being featured. All those things is just, you know, I don't think you could have asked for anything better from that perspective.
From your perspective, do you think Shawn was happy with the match? I mean, we know how Rick feels about it, but I know that Shawn was supposed to be the general that night. Do you think Shawn was happy when it was all said and done?
I think when it's all said and done and you feel the emotion that those two guys drained out of that audience, and when you come back through the curtain, the look on the audience face, I think how you could look at that as being anything other than a grand slam in the last game of the World Series. It's the only way you can look at it.
Kevin Corbett wants to know, I have a question about a certain move. One competitor throws their opponent towards the ropes, then bends over at a 90-degree angle really early and gets thumped. It happens now in nearly every match and ruins the match for me. What are your thoughts? And, producer Stan, I think he's talking about the back body drop spot where the wrestler.
That's exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Well, you know how you fix that? Don't bend over too early. And that's a fact.
Brian wants to know, what were your thoughts and experiences on the first two Crockett Cups? I loved them as a kid.
I would have preferred to have won, but we didn't. And that was fine, because we saw that the company was growing and evolving, and, you know, being a part of it was phenomenal. And you could see that, you know, it was a different product than the other guys. It wasn't so character driven, but to see a lot of your coworkers and guys go out there match after match, just tear the joint down, we took a lot of pride in work rate with Jim Crockett Promotions. And a lot of the guys did, because you had some tremendous performers that worked there.
DJ Miner wants to know some fantasy booking with a Horseman lineup of Rick, Arn, and Barry. I think Dustin Rhodes could have made a great fourth Horseman. Imagine the heat if he had turned on Dad and joined the dark side. What do you think?
Well, I think that's one of those things to where you go, wow, never thought about that. This guy may have the makings of a booker.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, not bad at all. That could open up a lot of interesting what ifs.
Jerry asks, you've often stated your role in the Horseman was the rookie and that you were really in awe of Flair, Tully, and Ole. Yet you were the only Horseman to carry 2 belts. Wouldn't that elevate your position to at least as high or perhaps higher than the other Horsemen?
I just simply looked at it as who they had been up until that point, who they were at that point, what they, their career, the trajectory that went on past that point. And I always looked at those guys as better than me, and I mean that in a very positive way, more experienced than me, more knowledgeable than me. Now, trust me, I studied them as hard as you can study a guy. And I saw what they did and why they did it. And I learned from every one of those guys. So it was a very positive experience with all of them. And I learned something different from all of them. But the fact is, I came in on the tail end experience-wise. And that's one of those things. If you have aptitude and attitude for this business, you can make up pretty quickly, your knowledge in the ring. That's what I tried to do, is just catch up. And those guys, I can't tell you how good they were up close.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.